When a young Inuit hunter needlessly kills a bear, he is magically changed into a bear himself as punishment. With a talkative cub being his only guide to changing back, he embarks on a journey back to his roots.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Louise,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 55.
Emily
What?
literally just went, I can't even do it.
She flashed
55
fives at
with
which
her hand.
was very helpful.
Well, you know, sometimes we forget what episode
Almost
it is.
every time.
So now I have it written down, and he was looking at me, so I thought it would be good to do a 55.
Probably 45 out of 55 times I've forgotten what episode we're on.
You know, I just try to be helpful.
Thank you.
We're talking about a movie about family. We are family. Come on.
We are family.
Yeah.
But it's not happy like that, so don't get it twisted.
This week
Family
we
of
are
bears.
talking about
Burrs.
2003's Disney animated movie Brother Bear.
Burr.
Why'd you say it like
Brother Bear.
Brother Bear?
Like
A super
Wilbur.
cute movie, and I think the only place you can see it in the Disney parks is like if you're gonna walk into the wilderness area. In
California
Adventure,
Adventure.
there's a totem pole there, and it's
It's like
and
a
it's Brother Bear. It's like a bear.
It's like a
No, and you
bear.
know what? I bet the bear you're thinking about is the one with the life vest on, and it's not that bear, babe.
It's not that
It's
big
not
old
that
bear in
bear.
I
front of
wasn't thinking about that bear at all. You both accused me of thinking of a different bear.
in front of
I
Grizzly
did. You're
River.
right. No, the other bear.
The bear that I was thinking about is in that nature area. There's bears that are like on the ground, and you could like get on top of them and pretend you're riding them and stuff. And
Yes,
I did
my
that
fiance
once.
did that every once.
Yeehaw!
How old are you?
Just like the bear did with the mammoth in
and
this
babe,
movie.
Babe, we also found
The best
out what
part.
our spirit animal was when we were in there, like this movie.
Oh,
I don't remember what it was,
well,
but
me neither.
remember you put your hand on the wall and then an animal shows up, and tells you what you are.
That is a feature of this thing at Disneyland.
Anyways, first impressions of Brother Bear, Andre.
This is my first time watching this movie, and I liked it. It was good. Jolly good.
Jolly good.
The animation in this movie is spot on.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's
very
nice.
pretty.
Yeah, good looking.
Good
Me
looking.
likey.
I think this
That's it for
is-
now.
I think this is the third time I watched this movie. I saw it in the theater. Emily made me watch it like last year because
Like,
I had forgotten about it.
Made you
Like
watch
4
it.
years ago. It was before Andre and Michelle were together.
Awkward.
Much farther before they were
Okay, yeah.
together.
So it's like the third time I've seen it, and yeah, it's very good. It's a good movie, and it has Phil Collins, so you know, I like that.
Phil Collins is on.
He's Phil Collins animated as Phil Collins. Just
Whoa.
kidding. I wish. Can
Whoa!
you imagine?
That'd be
Can you imagine if he was
As
on
this
He's playing
movie
on
was
animated
on,
drums.
Like Phil Collins is singing like "Welcome to our family," you know that song, and I was like, yeah, I would so see Phil Collins in concert, and then I was like, wait, I don't even know how old he is. Like, does he still go on concert
I think
tours?
so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that he would sing all of his Disney songs. He'd sing the other songs.
I
I'd
mean,
be
why
like,
not?
I don't know these, Phil.
It's like him from Genesis, and Michelle's
Yeah,
like, I don't
dude.
even know what this is.
What is this song?
He's only 67.
Not bad.
He's like 30 years younger than those Led Zeppelin dudes.
True.
They're still touring.
Emily, first impression.
I'm pretty sure this is only the second time I've seen it, unless I watched it with you the time that you said you watched it.
No, you didn't.
Okay, then I think it's probably only the second time.
Okay.
And it's funny because the bear part of the movie I remember, but every other part of this movie I was like, did this just get added in? What is all this?
Yeah,
And
you're right.
Luis and I were watching it and we were like, what? Why
What
are there
is-
humans in this movie? What is this?
Who are these guys?
Yeah, I couldn't remember how the bears came to be at the beginning because it was all humans, and I was like, "Oh, this movie's called Brother Bear," and I literally couldn't remember. But then I
No,
remembered.
but my first impression is it was totally worth it watching again because it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
it
it's
is a
solid.
good movie. Yeah.
It is.
I like it a lot.
solid indeed.
And it has some really funny funnies.
Oh, dude.
Like, the funnies
Coda.
are funny.
The moose.
The moose.
Oh, the
Oh
moose.
my heavens.
See, no, I think Coda's hilarious. The moose are too.
I
but-
love me some moose.
Which
'Cause
is
they're
my favorite
so
animal.
Canadian. Oh.
Oh, maybe that's why you love this movie
I
too.
love
Because they're
them.
your favorite animals. Yeah, they are very Canadian.
Ooh.
Which is
Eh.
so funny because when this movie
Okay.
started, I was like, yeah, it's Alaska, right? This is Alaska. But now I don't know if it's Alaska or Canada. It's just wilderness up there. It's where it
It's
takes
North
place.
North America.
Mm.
North America.
Luis was very, very, what's the word? Like,
Confused?
no, he was very sure that it was Alaska.
Adamant.
So was I, because there was an orca, there was all those glaciers.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like, can you see the northern lights from Alaska?
Yes.
Maybe. I was thinking that it was a little farther north or well, actually no, it might be Alaska because
North
of
Pole?
the Russian bear that comes up
That's
at
what
one
Luis
point.
said too. He's like, oh yeah, that's when the Bering Strait was connected
Exactly.
to Russia.
Yes, and you could just walk
Oh.
across basically, and that bear is from Russia.
So maybe they just put the Canadian accent and the Russian thing and then
Well, I-
giggles. You know what I mean?
I
But
completely
it's
believe that
definitely,
Alaskans have
up
some
north.
Canadian accents.
Oh,
That
I'm
wouldn't-
sure.
That wouldn't surprise me at
Well,
all.
and this is the most embarrassing thing I'm going to say all day. They're Inuit,
Yes, Inuit.
and I keep calling them Intuit, like
Inuit.
TurboTax.
They're into it.
No, like TurboTax, like INTUIT.
Oh, I thought like Andre, like, yeah, I'm into it.
Into it. You know this whole being a bear thing? I'm into it.
Into it.
Well, he was into it
But
eventually.
That's
so.
the
not funny.
Inuit weren't they from Alaska? Weren't they Alaskan?
I
Yes,
think
From
but
so.
that territory?
but that's like
before it was Alaska,
Inuit.
obviously.
Inuit is also used to describe like Eskimos and stuff like that sometimes.
Is it?
I
Yeah,
believe.
it is.
I believe it's
North
actually
Pole.
what
It's
they
the North
prefer to
Pole.
be called.
Definitely not the North Pole, but
Right.
Close
it's not
enough.
that far.
that's too high.
There were some penguins in this movie. What?
There was
Polar bears.
There was an orca.
Polar brother bear.
See, I always
Polar
call,
bear.
I always call orcas killer whales because that's what they are
Yes.
called, killer whales.
Correct.
But I've been calling them orcas recently. I don't know why that was necessary for you guys. To
I don't know if that was
What are you
necessary for
ta-
this
Oh,
podcast.
that's
How
because
often
there
are
was
you
a
talking about
child.
whales?
There was a child at my work, and you know, like those little bath toys that you can put in, and they shoot water out their mouth, like
See?
when you squeeze them.
See?
So there's an orca one like that at my job. But I always called it just a whale. I'm like, look at this whale. Look at this whale. It's a whale. And then one of the kids at my job was like, it's an orca. And I was like, you're right. So then I started calling it an orca
Wow.
because they might hurt their feelings if you call them a killer whale. Moving on.
I just think of Free Willy every time I see an orca. Anyway.
Did not like that movie. Moving on.
Oh, well then. The ocean catches
So,
on fire. It's
a lot,
crazy.
a lot happens at the beginning of this movie that I did not recall the first nor second time I watched it. There's a lady. She's like the shaman of the tribe.
She's like the matriarch, yeah. The
Yeah.
Tanana.
Tanana, thank
Yeah.
you. I kept,
Tanana.
I kept
Ba-
I
banana
kept
with a
wanting-
T.
Yeah, I kept wanting to call her Banana. I was like, oh yeah, there's Banana.
Done.
Tanana.
Banana.
I can't start laughing like that already. We're only 5 minutes in.
Tanana, what's going on, Tanana?
Yeah, so she goes to the top of this mountain where the northern lights touch the mountain in the sky, and there's spirits in the northern lights,
Yes.
and they tell her when a boy comes of age at 16, you know, he's trying to become a man, what his totem is.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I'm just saying, I want to know what
That's
my
super
totem
cool.
is.
It's very
I like
interesting.
that.
That's an interesting idea of coming of age because then it's like all of the ancestors and everything have been like watching
Right.
Yes.
and they are able to.
I like
come
it a
up with
lot.
them.
And I also like that like humans and animals are both like the spirits up there.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that was cool too.
Mhm.
That they're
Yeah.
like
All life.
intermingled,
Yeah.
intertwined. Yeah, so basically she'll tell you what your totem is and you're supposed to live by your totem to become a man.
Right.
Which I like.
Each totem
Yes.
represents like a different aspect of life. Like there's like wisdom and
Mhm.
there's love and there's
Guidance.
guidance.
It could be anything, right?
Yeah.
It's like an attribute.
Yes.
That's the word.
Exactly.
An attribute.
Yeah, very nice.
Jolly good.
So there's 3 brothers, and I can't remember all of their names for the life of me.
Don't go
Yes.
through it because that might be a trivia question later.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Cool.
one of them is not named Coda.
I know that much.
There's little
Kodak
brother,
moment.
middle brother, and older brother.
Yes.
Smart brother, brother, and dumb brother.
Yeah.
And we are
You know
working
what?
on dumb
Be
brother.
nice
Dumb
to
brother
Ed
is our
brother because
protector.
he's a middle brother and I'm a middle sister. I turned out better. Just saying.
You immediately compared yourself to what is the main antagonist of the movie for most of it, just because they're a middle sibling.
Yep.
He's a knucklehead brother. Is what
He's
he
an
is.
brother.
That's true. Yeah. So,
If you want to compare, then you're the sister. So
Right.
don't compare
All you got to do
yourself.
is not compare yourself. So you're good.
so the whole honestly
Moving
like
on, she says.
the whole first scene of this movie is just them going through the scenery, like
Yeah.
catching some salmon is what they're trying to do, which apparently took them like weeks, like 2 weeks to catch a basket of salmon, which is crazy.
Because they had to carry their boats
But-
all the way across the wilderness to
Yeah,
do
well,
it.
they didn't have to carry their boats up on rocks on a waterfall. That was insane.
I mean, it looked like they did. I don't know what they were up there. I assume that they had to do that. It didn't look like they would want to do that for fun. But
I don't know.
No.
know.
definitely
Yeah,
not.
but all of that animation, like for the
the scenery
environment.
is absolutely
Yeah, it's beautiful.
phenomenal.
it's good looking.
It's great. Youngest brother is supposed to tie up.
You can say his name. He's the main character. Kenai.
Kenai.
She forgot it. She didn't know. Little guy.
Little
I knew
dude.
Kodak. Okay.
Kodak.
Not anybody's name.
Kodak.
Kodak moment.
Anyways, okay. So Kenai, they're telling him to tie the salmon up in the tree, but like his ceremony is starting. So he ties it up, and then it falls to the ground, and then he looks at it, and it's just like, nah.
Whatever.
Literally,
And they,
problem number one,
they
dude.
just told him, "Hey, dude, bears steal the fish, so
so
tie
please
it up,
tie it up high
so
and tie it up good. And
so
he
they
just
don't steal
went,
the fish."
meh,
It's
which
fine.
is already, come on, dude.
You already know what's gonna happen.
He already
Right.
messed up, right? So of course, hilarious as it is, his totem is a bear and represents
love, like the Care Bears.
like the Care Bears.
Yeah.
It's only funny because he hates it so much.
Right.
It's not like it's funny the fact that like it actually was kind of cool the way Tanana like explained it,
Mhm.
and Kenai was so opposed. He was.
No.
Oh my god! And then the other brother like makes fun of him. The brother
Right,
is
yeah.
like, "Oh, now you can wear this flower crown and feel love all
Right,
around
yeah, he was
you."
Hilarious.
He's being very
Brotherly.
yeah, heterocentric.
Oh my gosh.
Stop. But it's quite funny because Kenai is not happy at all that his totem is love. He thinks that that's totally unmanly.
Yeah.
He tries to get other people to trade with him.
Yeah, he's like, trade my totem. And Tanana's like, no, that's not how it works. Like, calm down, Kenai.
Never.
And he's just not about it.
I would have been cool, like, because bears are crazy. Bears are strong and big and powerful and
And they're also cute.
sure
Cuddly.
they're cuddly.
They got
Furry.
teeth, incisors that could just...
Yeah,
But they're furry.
bears eat a lot of sushi.
Yeah, they do.
They're
I had
just
to think
constantly
about
out
that
at
for a
the
second.
river.
I
was
don't like
what?
sushi, so I don't want to be a bear. Taking it back.
Sake.
Anyways, they go back.
They're gonna
because
drink
they're
sake?
gonna-
No, not sake. Sake, which is salmon, I think.
Oh,
I'm
I
pretty
thought
sure that's what
it was
word
either
is.
that or suck it, and I didn't want to do either of those things. So
Into it.
moving on.
He was stuck in crawfish earlier. I'm just saying.
I did do that today.
So they go back to get the salmon because they're going to cook it for the feast, right? After the ceremony. Lo and behold, the salmon is gone.
The basket is gone. You know how long it takes to make a basket?
Yeah, they said 2 weeks.
That's
Well, and
crazy.
that's the worst part because then I thought like it took you 2 weeks to weave this basket. Like how long did it take you to get the supplies for the basket?
Right.
Then it took you what? However long to go get the salmon,
Ooh,
get
no wonder
back.
people died at 35 back then.
Oh,
That's Too
jeez.
much work,
Insane.
Took 3 people to go get that.
right?
So they basically call him middle brother's like, you're stupid, basically. Like, thanks for doing that. And he's
Stupid.
like, you know what, fine, I'm going to go get it back. So he goes and he tries to get the basket and it's all torn up and then
I think it was a mistake to let him go face a bear by himself with just a
That
spear.
was probably.
but maybe they thought the bear was like gone.
They thought
but
he
I
wouldn't like
mean-
catch up with it.
that he would have like left the basket.
Also, that was
Like you're so bad at this, you won't even be able to find that bear.
Right, yeah.
but it's also stupid that he was like, I'm gonna go find that bear. Like, that was stupid too.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Well, and I
Just
don't know.
let the basket go.
I don't know if they particularly thought he had the intention of going to kill the bear. I think
Right.
he had the intention to go get the
Go
basket,
get the
back,
basket, yeah.
so they didn't have to remake it. But then it kind of turned into this whole like bear hunt
Yeah.
because of
Yeah, that
The
was
He had to
Obliteration
get, he had to
of
get
basket.
revenge for the basket.
that was never the original intention,
Damn
though,
you!
right?
My basket!
He was gonna go find the basket. He found the basket, and he also found the bear. And then he did another stupid thing. He just started throwing rocks at the bear. He's like, "Stupid bear, throwing rocks at it, just antagonizing that poor mama
antagonizing.
bear like an idiot. Who does that? Who
The
throws
largest
rocks at
creature
a bear?
in his vicinity.
First of all, you would think that these Inuit people probably have a lot of knowledge about wildlife.
Right.
So he's just being stupid. You know what I mean? Like, he knows better.
Well, there is a heavy prejudice against bears in this movie,
Yes,
which is
there
very
is.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, bears are evil.
which is hilarious because that's his totem.
Right,
Is a
yes,
bear
exactly.
of love.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I hate bears,
Love
but
bear.
you are a bear of love.
There's a lot of that crossover going on, which is like, calm down. Okay, it's just a bear. So he starts throwing rocks at the bear. Bear's attacking him. And then the other two brothers finally show up, and then they're just all fighting this bear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, please stop.
It's
And,
a bear
and they're
fight.
on Ice Mountain. Come on.
Well, yeah, those are up there. Those glaciers.
Well, and here's the best part. We're watching this scene. 3 brothers, 1 bear, V iceberg. Like, and,
Sounds like a YouTube video.
right? And Luis is like, I don't really remember who dies here, but I know someone's about to die, and it's not going to be the bear.
Right. I was thinking, okay, so this is my first time
Okay.
watching it, right? So, like, the 2 brothers are there helping him, and I was like, oh, man, this is going to be crazy. I can't believe both brothers are going to die, and then he's going to have to turn into a bear and learn to love a new brother or whatever. I was prepared for both of them to go down.
Oh,
You
so,
were?
so that was actually better for you
Yeah,
than that
exactly.
only
Oh.
one died.
Just one died.
And,
The
you
other
know,
one
it-
just
it-
became a little evil. It's fine.
But I understood that he was going to die because his totem was guidance, and, he's guiding his brothers and whatnot.
Eagle.
But it was
One became eagle,
would've
one
been-
became evil.
it just seemed
Boom.
that bear has to have been huge because that was an extremely far fall from a glacier, and that bear didn't die.
No, bears.
No.
So
fought
I
in
thought that was
water.
a little bit
Bears a
weird.
little bit more fortified. I had
It was a lot more fat and hibernated.
I had just listened
areas.
to a different podcast, and they were saying like the biggest bears on Earth are like 14 feet tall or something crazy
That's
like that.
terrifying.
I just kept thinking of that movie with Leo,
Yes,
Revenant.
Revenant.
Stop. Okay, stop. Don't say you haven't seen it because do you remember at my Christmas party
We watched
2
the
years
bear
ago,
scene.
Luis kept bringing up the stupid bear scene,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
he
yeah,
made
I've
us.
seen the bear scene, but I just said I haven't seen it. Like
Right.
the
Oh,
movie.
But
you don't
that's-
need to see
that's
the
all
movie
you need to
because that's
have
literally
seen.
all I'm talking about is this bear scene where he like
He
goes
fights
toe-to-toe
he
with a
fights
bear.
Yeah, it's
a toe to
insane.
claw, yeah, and
toe to claw.
and
Toe to claw.
guess what? Claws beat toes. Okay, he rips him apart. The bear just
Yeah.
destroys this
All
man
kinds.
in the most brutal way. Don't watch it, kids.
Don't
It's
watch
just
it.
Not
Yeah,
good.
no.
Because either that or you can come to my Christmas party where there will be intoxication and there will be bearification.
Oh, I
So,
totally understand that
boom.
if I see a bear, I'm screwed. Like, I get it. But
And I am not throwing rocks at it.
Nah, no rocks.
I'll throw
Definitely.
rocks at myself.
I'm
That's
hiding
running.
in a bush if I see a bear. I'm like, goodbye.
They're stronger than bushes too, man.
They might smell me and run away, though. They're like,
What do you,
You think
smell
you
bad?
think you don't smell good to bears?
no, I smell yummy.
Oh.
Anyway, so they're fighting the bear. Big Bro breaks the glacier off, sends himself down in like the most stoic
Into a
way
cold
possible.
abyss.
He's like, "Goodbye, brothers."
I feel like that would be like a Game of Thrones thing. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
like sticks it in the. I've never seen the show, but like sticks it in the ice, and it's like cool.
ultimate
makes sense.
sacrifice. Yes. So he goes down. That's quite sad.
They
And-
can't find his body.
Yeah, they
That's
can't find
even
his body.
sadder.
Little brother is saving middle brother, and then bear gets away. So
Which angers him even more.
Oh, yeah.
That
that
bear gets away.
that killed my brother, which it didn't. He sacrificed himself to save y'all.
It is really hard, though.
I have to get
because-
revenge on the bear.
Yeah, he's freaking out about the bear, and I'm like, you started this. Like, you
Right.
instigated the bear. So they have the, like, ceremony for the brother. And then what really bugs me, though, is that the middle brother to Kenai is like, I don't blame the bear. And I was like, you just set Kenai off even more. Why would you say that?
Right.
I get
But
it. He's
it's
like,
true,
to
though.
be fair, it is entirely Kanai's fault.
Well, yeah, he's the
whole
one who
situation.
made that whole thing happen. Not so much like the basket and the salmon, but like the going after and antagonizing the bear. Like that's
it's Kenai's
completely
fault.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
No, for
Could've
sure.
just picked
And of
up
course, people say stupid things when they're angry and when they're
and
hurt.
grief.
And do I think that he would have said that maybe 2 months down the road? No, but it literally was like the same day or the day after that they're having the ceremony, and he was just talking about how he was so immature and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the day before.
So then immediately he's like, fine, I'm going to go kill this bear then, just to like prove that I'm a man or whatever, get vengeance for my brother. So that
taking
once
my
again,
one
there's
spear
another
and I'm going to fight a bear.
another bear chase, hunting a bear. And then
Literally, there's 2 bear hunts in like a 5-second period.
Yeah, it's really
there's
fast.
a lot of bear hunts. There's a
But like
bear
in
is-
that like
Right.
little
Yeah, yeah,
moment.
yeah.
I
like-
didn't expect them to be fighting the bear immediately.
So I do like the next scene, like where he's fighting the bear, and he does end up. The bear comes at him, and he has a spear, and she ends up dying, the bear. But then immediately, all of the spirits from the light start coming
lights
down,
are
like
like,
literally
no.
instantly. I was like, "Oh, geez, what's happening? This is already a plan." And his brother spirit, his older brother spirit, turns him into a bear, which at first, not knowing like that Coda is like in the picture, I didn't quite understand.
Right,
At
like,
first, I was
why
like, so
change him into
you're
a
turning
bear?
him into a bear because he killed a bear? Like,
This is a
that-
weird lesson for you to learn.
See, I thought it was more because his spirit totem was a bear. So then I thought like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
so
killed one. Oh, okay.
no, not even because. Well, it was like punishment for mercilessly,
Yeah.
right? Killing this bear that he got turned into like his totem animal.
Right.
But I agree with you. It doesn't seem to make as much sense in the beginning, but then it ends up making perfect sense.
And then I'm like,
later.
okay, if his totem's love, like he shouldn't want to kill something, but it still didn't make sense, like why he would get turned into a bear.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It gets there.
older
Right.
brother had
but
a
the
plan.
fact that it's his
so-
totem that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's funny because at that same time, middle brother, who then sent Kenai off in this rage, comes up and sees Kenai as the bear, thinking probably that it's the same bear.
yeah.
He doesn't know the
He
difference.
thinks it's the same bear.
And he loses it. And so for the rest of the movie, it's middle brother chasing Kenai.
Oh yeah,
in-
because he thinks that bear like ate his brother.
So now it's like double, triple, like,
Revenge.
oh my.
Revenge on top of revenge.
And he was like the more chill of
Right,
the other
yeah,
ones.
he was-
and he just like went totally cray cray.
Yeah.
I like
he
that.
went so bad that he grew evil facial hair.
Yeah, he did.
was
It was so each scene was more
Yeah.
fantastic. And he got like little under eye circles
Yeah,
and
My
soul
favorite-
patch.
so bad.
My favorite thing is that so after Kenai Bear falls down like into the water and like knocks out, he wakes up the next morning and Tanana's just like, "Hey,
Yeah, that scene confused me because
she knows the spirits do this."
I
She's
know,
like the
but then
spirit
then
person.
she kind of just let him wander off and didn't really explain anything. To him, really.
Okay, so here's the
She didn't
deal.
let him wander off. She disappeared. She was like, "Your brother's got a plan for you." Poof.
So hold on, explain exactly what happens, and then we can dissect it because I think it was different. There was a different meaning.
He wakes up. She is there.
He like wakes up on a shore.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
a shore. He's a bear. She sees that he's a bear. She's fine with that. He doesn't know he's a bear, so he sees his reflection and starts freaking out that he's a bear. And it's like, what's happening? What's going on?
She's like,
he's
"I'll
trying to
speak
rip
bear."
off his skin and stuff like that. And then,
Which is actually really funny.
and then what does she say?
She says, "I don't speak bear," and she's like, "It's very interesting. I've never seen the spirits do this before."
Right.
But they always have a plan, and good luck.
Bye.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So Luis thought that she was physically there. I kind of thought it was more like not a figment of his imagination because I think she had something to do with it, but because she
Sure.
was like shaman-y,
Yeah.
I feel like she was maybe she was astro projecting.
Yeah, dude.
So
We
much
just pop by the
astral
river and see what's
projecting.
going on.
I don't know so much like how much magic had to do with it, but I don't know if she was actually there, if it was like in his head.
I
That's
think she was
interesting.
there. She's just like freaking Rafiki. She just can poof really easy.
I really wish you guys could see Michelle's body language. She like hunched her shoulders and like started like
Pulled up her paws.
she was like bouncing like like Rafiki.
Like Rafiki.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Just like Rafiki.
I like it.
Um,
And here comes at this point the best
it's
characters.
Coda.
Oh no.
Oh, wait. Who is it?
No.
Oh, it's the moose. That's
the moose
right.
come first.
The moose do come first.
The moose come first. And the moose are first in my mind as well. I love
They're
the
literally that. So the bear's freaking out because Kenai realizes he can hear the other animals too. So the birds are like, like let's go. And then there's like two squirrels yelling at each other, and he's like, I know you have that nut.
I know you got the acorns. Like, I don't have
Where
any
is it?
acorns. There's 2 acorns, obviously, in the chipmunk's cheeks.
He's like, I know you had that acorn. So he's freaking out because he can hear them. And so then I don't know what the moose are talking about originally. I just remember it being funny. I think they're just like, oh, look at that bear. Or I don't know, something. But they're literally so hilarious.
They're slow. They're not that intelligent,
No.
but they're brothers.
Yes.
And they
do everything together.
do everything together. And they're very Canadian.
Their names are Took and Rut.
Yes.
Took
Took and Rut.
and Rut.
Poor things. Who named them?
Oh, if you're not a bear, then I'm a wolverine.
Stop it.
Well, and it's hilarious because Kenai sits there talking to them, and is like, I'm not a bear. I'm not a bear. I'm really not a bear. And he never says, like, I'm a human that got changed into a bear or whatever. Like, he can't articulate that
He's
at
just
this
like,
point.
I'm not a bear.
But he's just like, I'm not a bear. And they're like, well, then what are you? A really big beaver?
And I also
So
like immediately
funny.
they're so frightened. They're like, no, don't eat us. Don't eat us. And he's like, I'm not going to eat you. They're like, oh, okay. What's up, man?
well, then can we
Cool.
stay with you? You're going to keep us safe.
Freaking ridiculous.
Oh, so good.
I love them.
So good.
Took and Rut. And they're played by Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas. I didn't realize Rick Moranis was in this movie. That is amazing. He's the dad from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes.
Oh, that
Well,
makes
and
sense.
the other guy, I don't know what he's from, but he's familiar to
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Like,
He's like a character actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I
Well,
can't.
weren't you surprised that one of the characters casting were like, it's him? Was it Kenai?
So Kenai is
Joaquin
voiced by
freaking
Joaquin
Phoenix.
Phoenix. And if no one had ever said that to me, if I'd never read that, I never in a million years would have guessed that
Me neither.
Kenai's young sounding voice was voiced by Joaquin Phoenix.
Which I don't
walk
really
the
know.
line.
Walk the line, walk
Walk the line. And that super deep
Yeah.
walk the line voice.
Yeah, it's interesting for sure. I'm like, oh.
I don't think Luis knows that. I kind of want to tell him that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, yeah, I agree. I saw that today and was like, what?
It's wild.
What?
I don't know how that happened.
So then we meet Coda. So he kind of leaves the
Coda.
mooses, or the moose, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
leaves the moose and or just
He gets
starts
stuck in a
walking.
trap.
Gets
Yeah.
stuck in a trap,
Right.
like a very non-experienced bear.
Mm-hmm.
And Coda
Rookie
jumps
bear.
out. Rookie. Noob.
He's like, what you doing? Coda. Oh my
Coda
god.
comes out and he's just the most talkative little guy on. I
I
wrote,
love Coda.
I wrote down that like Kenai is being pretty mean to what I'm pretty sure is the cutest bear on earth.
like the
The
cutest little
cutest
5-year-old.
bear.
Right? Like
Yes.
like if it was a kid, it'd be
Mhm.
like a 4 or 5-year-old,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
6. I don't know.
something like that.
But like very
But
young,
young,
very precious.
tenacious.
He's the cutest
And just-
bear ever, and everything that comes out of his mouth is freaking hilarious.
And he's really not annoying. I
No.
don't think. I thought he
No.
was
He's just got some
precious.
stories to tell. That's all.
He's got so much to say.
Oh, he's so cute.
And
Yeah.
Kenai is so rude. He doesn't want any of his help. And he sits there in this bear trap upside down. You know he has so much blood in his brain. Like
Right,
he
yeah.
cannot.
Grr,
he,
I'm a bear and I'm up in a tree.
he sounds like the Bidoof guy.
Bidoof.
What's his name?
the Bidoof guy.
What's his name?
Patrick Warburton.
Thank you. He's
Cross.
gonna sound like that.
Bidoof.
Stop it.
We have too many inside jokes.
Yeah, we're
It just
just-
Anyway,
makes me
so
wanna
yes,
kill-
Kenai's got a big head. He wants to get himself down, but then finally, Coda's like, "I'll get you down," or he says like, he wants to go. He wants to go find his mom, right? Like go on into. I think he says he wants to go see the lights. Oh, the salmon run.
He wants to go to the salmon
He wants
run.
to go on
He's
the salmon
Willikers.
run.
I can't think right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to go to salmon run. He's like, "Hey, if you get down, you can take me." And he's like, "Yeah." So then Coda just immediately gets him down. He's like, oh, there you go. Got you down.
Right, because Kanai had been trying to free himself with a stick.
Forever because the
and
sun was already going
could
down.
not reach it. 'cause
Hours.
he's too prideful.
Coda's still sitting there watching him. Yeah, so he gets him down. And then he's like, no, I'm not taking you. That's not how it works. But he does end up trying to take him on a journey because he says that at the salmon run, you can see the lights
Yes.
that touch the mountain. So he's like, ooh, I
He's like,
need to
I
go
gotta get back to
there.
them lights.
So
Yep.
guess I'll
So I can
befriend
get my
this
legs
a little
back.
kid bear.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Begrudgingly.
Correct.
That's the cutest little kid bear.
It flashes back over to the moose, and the moose is doing yoga. He does. he does
Poor dog!
dog facing forward.
Facing forward. And I love that they're stretching just to eat. And they're like, ready? Go. And they just start eating.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Patch
Grazing,
right here.
too.
Yeah.
Just like...
Hey, don't touch that patch over there. Somebody's steeped in it or something like that.
So
Very funny.
funny.
I love the moose.
They are quite hilarious.
Mhm.
But why did they want to go on the journey? I can't remember. What was...
I
Oh, the
think-
hunters.
Yes, they wanted some protection from.
Oh, because
From
there's
middle brother.
a hunter
Yes.
coming after
He's out there.
animals, and they don't realize that they're after Kenai.
Kenai. Yes.
So
Not at first, yeah.
they're like, "Oh, there's a hunter. I think we'll stay with you."
Yeah. You could be our protector.
So smart. And then they're going to go on a journey. And then we hear... Was that the first song? Well, it wasn't the first song we
No,
heard.
the first
but
song
it's,
was that
But it's
montage at
probably
the
like the
beginning.
most well-known song from this movie. And I love the way Coda sings it at first. He's just ready to sing. He's like, well, I'm going to sing. Tell everybody I'm on my way. And Kenai's like, oh.
He keeps trying to shut him up, and he just keeps singing through it.
It reminds
Completely
me
uncaring.
of Donkey from Shrek.
Yes,
like
yes.
just I will
just
not
any
stop.
kid, like, I'm just going to start singing out of nowhere. Look at this song I wrote. So cute. So that
on
whole
my
song
way.
happens.
So I love that song.
I love that song, too.
That song is great. The score is done by Phil Collins in this movie. But he didn't get to sing all of the songs.
No, he
for some reason, and
It was done by Phil Collins and Mark Mancina, right?
yes,
And like Tina Turner did one
Tina
song.
Turner did
or
some
two?
of the sing- I
One
think
or
two,
two,
I think
I
two
think.
songs. Yeah,
Phil did a couple.
yeah. Phil, I think sang 2 songs as well. I think
Welcome
so.
to our family time.
Yeah,
He sang
yeah.
that one and then this one.
Yeah, so I think "On My Way" is the only song that I really enjoyed. This is only my first time
Mhm.
watching this movie, but that's the only song that I clung on to really.
But you knew that. It's funny because you knew that song before.
That's right, 'cause-
because I played it.
Yeah, I've heard it on
I'm pretty sure
Pandora
you thought it was
stations and stuff
Tarzan.
like that. So
Well, and here's the deal. I have my point to make about the music here is that it's weird to me that it sounds and it makes sense because it's very Phil Collins-y and it's Phil Collins sung that particular song.
Right.
But I feel like almost all of the songs in Tarzan and this movie could be intermixed.
right, yeah.
Like
A lot of
the
them could.
themes and like
How they sound.
everything could be intermixed because if you think
Yeah.
about like the Two Worlds One Family, like
Mhm.
come on, could be both.
Two
Yeah.
bears, one family.
Truth, right? But like a lot of the songs
Yeah.
have the same, obviously the same like sound,
Right, yeah.
But they
Yeah.
also have the same
Same style.
I mean, the
type
song,
of-
yeah.
lyrics.
Yes.
The
All right.
songs don't necessarily like stand out to me, but I like them. I think they fit the movie like,
Oh, for
really,
sure.
Yeah.
really well. And I do like that "Tell Everybody I'm on My Way" song, "On My Way" or whatever you want to call it. That one's really good. I'm on my way, and they're riding a mammoth.
So good.
Yeah.
See, this must have taken place a long time ago. Yeah, I bet the
Right, yeah. Because the mammoths
Strait
are
of
there.
Gibraltar was there
There's
probably.
No,
Strait of Gibraltar,
Is that what it's called?
Bering Strait.
Yeah, that.
where do you get Gibraltar from?
That
It's
was
definitely a Gibraltar one.
that was fantastic. You keep that girl. Strait of
I'm
Gibraltar.
pretty sure it's a thing.
So yeah, that's the music. Yeah, I didn't cling on to many more of the songs than the "On My Way" song, but pretty good.
But still
you know.
good.
Yep.
It's Phil Collins. You go, Phil Collins.
You go, Phil Collins.
Get
You
it, Phil
go,
Collins. 4 for you, Glenn.
Glenn Collins.
Glenn Collins. So
Dios
what
mío.
happens after that? So they go on like a long
Journey.
journey montage during the "On My
Yes.
Way" song where
Kind of like each other now.
Kanai is like, I don't like being a bear. I'm bad at being a bear. Oh, wait, Coda's teaching me how to be a bear. This is pretty cool, and I can protect Coda, and we're a pretty good team, and I like him now, and we're having fun.
Pretty much.
Yeah, he basically started liking Coda like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it's also funny because Coda tries to tell him a story before this journey, about how he got separated from his mom. He's like, you want to hear it? You want to hear it? And he's like, nah, save it for when we're at the salmon run.
Right.
And it's interesting that they, I mean, in that moment already, I had put it together. Did you put it together?
I don't think I really put it together until a little bit later, like maybe like during the song or after the song. That like, oh wait, where did Coda come from? Where is his family? Why is he alone? And oh, I bet that bear that they fought earlier was a female bear.
I bet you it was a she, and she had a sun bear.
Baby bear. Yeah.
Which is correct. That is what happened.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so Coda tells the story, and Kenai starts like freaking out. He's like, "Oh no!"
Well, he tells the story once they get to the
once
salmon
they get
run.
there. There's like a little. There's only like one more really important scene before they get to the salmon run is when they're in those geysers, like they're in the geysers because they have to.
Like the fire geyser.
Yeah,
thing.
they have to cross over these like crazy geysers to get to the salmon run, and lo and behold, they still got tracked, even though they were riding an elephant all the way there. So middle brother must be a good hunter.
Yeah.
And he tries to attack him, and then he sees his brother, right? And he's like trying to be like, it's me. But of course, yeah, that.
Bear sounds.
And you know, and he does. He gets away, and then that's the moment when you know, like, he really cares for Coda because he turns back to like go get Coda.
Right. Yeah.
And they walk across, you know, to the other side, and brother doesn't get there, but then he does an insane thing, and he literally tries to jump across this cliff. Like, that's how much vengeance he has.
Human brother tries to jump for the bear.
Right.
Which is insane.
He almost kind of makes it because he grabs onto like a tree trunk or something.
Tree trunk, and then Kanai's trying to help him, and that's when middle brother sees his eyes, and he's like, "Wait, what? Those eyes look familiar." And then he drops down into like the water, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, into water.
But he didn't die, and that was a much farther fall than Glacier.
Right. Yeah. You know, deep river, no rocks right there. Salmon, they helped him.
I'm just saying.
They carried him away.
I feel like it would have been much more rocky, but whatevs. Okay.
But
whatever.
That reminds me of with the eyes, like the same thing happened in Brave, where the real bear has like the jet black eyes, like they're all the way black, and then when the human turns into a bear, they have like the sort of like they have the whites in their eyes that look like more human eyes, and they have like the cartoony face.
Well, and isn't he like
detail.
standing up on his hind legs a lot more Kenai than the other bears?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
He doesn't really like get down on all fours unless he's like running.
And he's pretty small. Like
yeah, he's a smaller bear, but he's still like a teenager. So I figured
he's a teen bear.
That's why he's a teen bear. Yeah,
he has room to grow.
So they get to the salmon run, and then I think it's just so hilarious because there's all these bears there, like probably like 100 bears.
There's so many bears.
And Kenai just starts screaming. He's like, ah! I'm like, dude, you're a bear. Calm down. They're not gonna attack you. And they're so nice too. They're like, what's that weirdo screaming about?
Okay?
Who is that,
Who's
Coda?
this guy?
And he's
I've
like,
never seen this
it's my
guy
friend
before."
Kenai. He's a little crazy, but
All the bears love Coda.
Yes.
because he's so cute.
Right. Yeah.
I think this is a good time because a couple of my trivia questions have to do with the salmon run and what happened there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do our trivia list and then we can continue on.
All right.
Sound good?
Oh,
Let's
dear.
let's
Okay.
hit it-
So you
hit
guys
this
have
with the
already
trivia.
touched on a couple of these. I'm still gonna ask them, and it is a. Do you guys want to do buzz in? Like,
Sure. I'll go.
Sure.
Eh.
No, say your own name, and that's how you buzz in. Whoever says
Okay.
your name first.
okay, so we're gonna take it back just a little bit. We know Rut and Took, right? The moose.
Yes.
Okay. What do the moose, Rut, and Took spy every time they play I Spy?
A tree.
Tree. Oh, Andre.
Shout the answer. I said it first. Tree.
Okay.
Okay. Tree.
I see something green.
Tree?
Oh, something that has bark. Is it a tree?
Uh.
I like at the end that they
Something
just start saying tree. He's like, oh.
Every single time it's a tree. Okay. Coda has a friend that he constantly mentions in his stories. They end up meeting him at the salmon run. What was the friend's name?
I don't know. It's that big bear.
No.
Is it
It's a little bear.
Oh.
Binky?
Definitely
Bucky.
not.
It's Bucky. It's Bucky. I remember.
It is Bucky.
Is it Bang?
And you know why?
Binky
it's,
was pretty close.
you know why it's funny that you say Binky?
Was Binky the other name?
There is so there's a quote in the movie where Kenai is like talking about his friend, and
Right.
literally he says, I don't care that you and Binky found the world's biggest pine cone or whatever. And then Coda goes, first of all, it's not Binky, it's Bucky, and it wasn't a pine cone, it was a pine nut. Apparently that entire scene was accidental because
Why?
he said Binky, like Joaquin Phoenix said Binky instead of Bucky.
And the kid
And the kid was just improv and was
That's
like,
amazing.
Okay,
first
yeah.
of all,
Who plays Coda? Because,
So-
man, he has a really good voice.
Coda
Right.
is played by a young man
The
named...
perfect voice for Coda.
I think his name is Jeremy Suarez. Yes, and he was the nephew on the Bernie Mac show. I don't know if you guys ever watched the Bernie Mac show.
I did not. But, man,
that show was
his
great.
voice was so good for
yeah,
Coda.
he did really good.
Yeah.
But it's funny that you say Binky because that's exactly what Joaquin
I remember
Phoenix
both
said.
names.
Okay, one for Michelle, one for Andre. Okay, finish Kenai's quote. This comes right after the scene we're talking about.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a story. It's kind of about a man, and it's kind of about a bear, but it's mostly about a blank.
Adventure?
Brother. It's
I don't know.
about
He's talking about himself because
Right.
this is when he's going to tell
a
him.
monster.
Boom!
Yes.
Mostly about a monster.
It's mostly
I
about
knew
a
that.
monster.
Yeah, you did.
I am
How-
a monster.
We've already talked about this. How do Kenai and Coda travel to the salmon run?
On a mammoth.
Mammoth.
Yeah, the mammoth is very
Hilarious.
very willing to just carry 1,400-pound bears or whatever
And
on
nobody
his back.
even talked about how Took, he
Took it
crashed a mammoth. You guys never talked about
right.
that.
Yeah, and now he's missing an antler.
He couldn't get
He
off.
broke his own antler off.
Broke his the rock just came out of nowhere. Okay. Here's a salmon run question. Mabel is an elderly weeping bear
Oh,
at the
yeah.
salmon run. What's the name of her quote unquote dead husband?
I just see his husband.
Was
I don't
it
know.
Edgar?
It was Edgar.
Yes.
What the heck? Why do you remember all the random?
Because I wrote down
Are you
notes.
reading her
no,
paper?
I'm not reading my notes or anything. I'm on IMDb right now, but I'm just on Jeremy Suarez's page. But
Edgar.
I was taking notes, and so I was writing down names and stuff like that. So I think that's why I remember.
It's so funny because
I'm not dead.
he talks two
Well, you
different
never
times.
see him though.
He's most definitely not dead though. She just thinks he's dead.
I'm right over here.
Okay, what trait about Coda annoys Kenai the most? We talked about this one.
Talks a lot.
Yeah, his
Talks
stories.
too much. I guess I should have said we talked about this. Okay, Tug. This is the bear you were talking about, the giant bear, right?
Yeah,
So
Tug.
Tug is the giant bear at the salmon run who tells a story about how he finally knocked down the tree that was blocking the view from his cave.
Right.
He now has a family of what living with
Squirrels.
him?
Were they squirrels or chipmunks?
Chipmunks.
Chipmunks.
That was good
And
though.
then the chipmunks are staring at him like, yeah.
The chipmunks are so funny because there's like an obvious mom chipmunk and she's got like a baby chipmunk in her arms and she looks so exasperated and annoyed that she's been displaced.
Oh my, she's been.
so sad.
Fantastic.
Andre said this one earlier. I don't know if
Oh.
it was on the podcast or not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
When Kenai is first turned into a bear, he meets Rut and Took, like we talked about. What animal did Rut claim to be when Kenai insisted he was not a bear?
Wolverine.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Wolverine.
I was thinking of
he was
beaver.
like,
Oh, what a beaver.
I'm a Wolverine.
I'm a
man.
Wolverine.
Okay, two more, and if we need a bonus question, you'll get the bonus
Ooh.
question. What are the names of all three human brothers?
Don't know. I know Kenai.
There's Kenai, Denahi,
That's
yeah.
the brother.
and Eagle Bird Boy.
Eagle, bird, boy.
I don't know.
I can't, wait, I want to try and remember it. It's like Tiska,
Oh, Titka.
Tika, Steve Ditka.
I literally just broke my
Sitka.
finger. I'm gonna give it to Michelle because it's Sitka.
Sitka.
I said Tiska. That was very close.
Nah.
That-
I said
you
Tika.
just like switched the T
Yeah,
and the S.
man.
Oh my gosh, I just smashed my finger so
You
hard.
okay?
Okay, I'm actually gonna cross that one out because
Sitka.
I want to give you the Sitka, but you got Denahi.
Denahi.
So we'll give you both that one.
Sitka.
Yeah.
Okay, now here's the harder one. What are each of their totems?
It's an eagle. It's a bear.
But who and what?
Oh. Sitka's is an eagle.
Of
Kenai.
Guidance.
okay, good job.
Kenai's a
Kenai's
bear. A love. I
Yeah.
don't remember the other one. His is weird. Oh, his is wisdom. It's an owl.
Oh.
What's it? It's something of wisdom.
It's another. I don't think it's another bird.
I thought you were gonna say a nut.
I don't think it's a nut either. Is it a?
I know it's wisdom.
Is it a fish of wisdom?
No, it's definitely not a fish.
Is it a?
It's not a fish. It's a rabbit.
It's not a mammoth.
It's a bunny.
It's not an orca.
It's not a squirrel.
It's is it a deer? Is it a moose?
No.
They're not wise in this movie.
What is Luisa's favorite animal? Go.
I don't know. It's a wolf. Wolf. of
Yes,
wisdom.
it's a wolf
Whoa.
of wisdom.
I got it.
Wisdom.
You got
wolf,
it.
Wise wolf.
Beautiful. Well, you guys are tied.
Oh.
So here's your bonus question.
Bonus.
What is that?
That's a bonus question.
What exactly? You guys have danced around it, but you've not said it. What exactly does Kenai call the place he's trying to get to when following Coda to the salmon run? It's very specific what he says.
The mountain of lights. The light mountain.
The mountains where
northern
the light
lights,
meets
where
the light touches the mountain. Where the light meets the sky.
light.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to
calls
Michelle.
me.
No one knows how far it goes, okay? No one knows. The place where the lights touch the sky.
Oh, okay.
Boom. Michelle,
I knew
you,
it was something about sky.
you win.
won.
Mountain sky.
That was very good.
That was
Boom! I
good.
did it.
Some of those are hard.
Those were difficult.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
it's
got-
harder when you don't know the movie as well too.
Oh, for
like
sure.
in any other movie, I could be like, yeah, it's this.
Well, that's why it's fun to do it on these ones because it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, it also humbleizes us because we are not professionals.
Yeah.
Humbleizes us.
Oh, I'm very humble.
Grim Grinning
right
Ghost,
now.
come out to humble.
She put that in a song so
Very
fast.
fast.
Jambalaya. That's what they eat. Let's move on.
Who
Anyway.
eats jambalaya?
The ghost?
The
The Grim
What?
Grinning
Is it in
Ghost?
New
Well,
Orleans?
no,
Grim
listen,
Grinning
look
Ghost
at,
love to eat jambalaya.
and then there's just like,
Jumbo.
you know how like ghosts in the background, I'm like, do 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 do.
Yeah?
do. So they're saying jambalaya, jambalaya. That's what they're doing. Move on. Please cut this out of the podcast.
Never at
We
all.
will never cut out
In any way,
jambalaya.
shape, or
Grim
form will I be
Ghost.
cutting
Thank
this out.
you. You didn't say this on the Haunted Mansion.
Right? Yeah.
It didn't come to my mind then.
So, anywho, fantastic trivia battle, everyone.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was applicable to our salmon run conversation. Go ahead and go back.
Yeah, so they're at the
Salmon.
salmon run.
Salmon
They're
run.
talking to the
Salmon.
bears. Kenai is freaking out because
That was actually my least favorite song in
Yeah,
the movie.
it's not needed, but I remember that one from a lot of the trailers they played that song on.
Oh, okay. So at the salmon run, one of the things that they do besides like bear things is they sit around and they tell the story of like the most interesting thing that happened to them that year.
Right.
So that's why
On
Tug
their
tells
journey.
the story about knocking down the tree and the
tree.
chipmunks being like a part of his family now.
Yes.
He has to share his cave. And Mabel, the old lady bear, tells about her like losing her husband.
Yeah, and then that Russian
Stop
guy's
telling
like,
everyone I'm dead.
and then the Russian bear's just like, I have no idea. And
That was
they're
a
That was a
just
wonderful
pretty good Russian
Russian.
accent.
and they're just like, huh? And he's like, and they're like, That's what happens.
Love it. So everyone tells their story, and that's like the exciting thing to do at the
Yes.
salmon run. So Kenai is super excited to not Kenai, excuse me. Coda's
Coda.
super excited to tell his story.
That's right.
And you very quickly realize it's the story of how he got separated from his mom.
And it's really cool in the movie because they're like he's telling the story all nice and fun because he's a fun little kid. But Kenai is freaking out, and it keeps flashing to his version of that story. And it's like very abrasive and intense.
Well, because he makes his mom, and they're bears, so totally warranted. But he makes his mom sound so amazing. He's like, and my mom saw this scary hunter, and she was protecting me, and she got up in his face,
Right.
but then he attacked her, and she dodged it, and she did this. And, you know, he was so excited and like proud of his mom.
Yeah.
And then
I
at the
know,
end
it's
of
really
his story.
sad.
He doesn't know what happened to her. He just saw that she fell off. She
off the
fell off
cliff.
the glacier, and so now he's just trying to find her
Yep.
because she's fine.
Yeah.
And that's when whatever his face is,
Kenai.
Kenai is like, Oh.
No.
But then also, you know, props to Kenai in this moment because he tells
Yes.
Coda.
Right.
He's like, I
He
don't know
runs
how
away,
to tell you this.
and then
There's
he-
like this little sad song playing too.
Yeah,
and
I
I was
didn't
like,
love that
oh,
song
geez, I
either.
don't know what's going on. It's
I
making me
agree with
sad.
you because I feel like there's always like, and it doesn't just happen in Disney movies. It just happens in Disney movies a lot where like there's the moment you should fess up and they don't take it.
Right.
And then the character finds out later. And then it's like,
They're even more mad.
yeah,
It's like the end of Act 2, and they're like, well, these two characters got to be in a fight now. So.
yeah, it's like, well, you know, you
One-
did something bad and then you didn't tell me when you should have. And it was nice to just like get it done with.
Right.
He was like, oh, geez, this is what I did. And so he does. He tells Coda, and, you know, Coda runs off, and he's upset, but
I'm a monster.
okay. monster.
But you know what? It's cool because it's kind of true.
Yeah.
Kind of true.
Yeah, it is.
Word.
But then very quickly we see some really interesting juxtapositions of how bears see humans versus how humans see bears. So Coda ends up coming back around because he realizes like I need somebody.
Right.
He's a baby bear pretty much.
Yeah.
And so he and Kenai continue on their journey to find, or excuse me, I don't even
No.
think they really continue. They just are like walking around that area and they find a mural,
Yes.
right? Like painted by Kenai's people,
Or
probably.
ancestors, yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, probably different ancestors.
And it's many different portrayals of bears versus humans.
Right, yeah, they got the cave drawings up in there.
Well, and I'm also thinking, like, if they're by this salmon run area, that bears were more prevalent wherever that past tribe was living too. You
Sure.
know what I mean?
Sure.
Right, yeah.
So they were probably like
More
bears.
up here.
Bears beats
Battlestar
Battlestar Galactica.
Exactly, yes.
Oh my lord. It's funny though because in that moment you're looking, and of course, like as humans, we right because we're all humanoids. We look at the cave drawing of like this little tiny stick figure human and this huge over dramatic bear,
Yeah.
and you think like, oh my gosh, like super scary. But Coda's looking at it, and the first thing he says is, look at those creatures, like they're monsters, and the ones
terrifying.
with the sticks are really scary.
Yeah.
And he's looking at the humans thinking like they're the scariest things on the planet when we're over here like, no, those bears are way
It's the
scary,
bear,
bro.
Yeah.
So
It
it's
is the
just
bear.
interesting to kind of see the difference in kind of reflected in our own lives, because I mean, isn't that the truth about anything that scares us?
Yes.
They
Yeah.
probably are just as
have to
scared of us.
portray it as
It's
a
also
monster
like-
and evil.
I just think that their relationship is so great because we didn't really touch on this, but before Coda told his story, Kenai told a little story about how he went on an adventure and got a brother. And he
Yes.
literally says, I got a brother.
Yeah.
So then he let his little brother down, but then his little brother came back and accepted him, and like they're still brothers. Like I feel like their relationship is solid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's a good
And
relationship.
now they're just having like a better understanding of each other, but then another brother comes in.
Uh-oh.
He finds
Then another brother,
Denahi.
the brother from the same mother, comes in and he ruins the fun.
Yeah, they have a bear fight.
Denahi pretty much. Denahi? Yeah.
Denahi.
He catches up to them. He tracked them all the way there. And out of all of those bear paw prints, he finds Kenai's, right?
Yes.
And they have a pretty epic fight.
They have a little tussle.
Oh, okay, no, it was a tussle. It was not epic. An epic fight.
It was
And yeah.
Yeah. Denahi does not win the fight, or Denahi he
I
like
don't remember how it ends.
I kind of don't remember either.
Michelle, do you remember what happened?
does he remember or realize that Kenai is not a bear, or do they just make it up to the lights?
What happens is
Thank you. I only
Coda,
watched this, but I have
Denahi is on top of Kenai, and he's saying like, no, but he's not really going to fight the fact that he's going to get killed.
Right.
Coda comes and pushes Denahi over. Then Denahi goes after Coda.
Right.
And as he's going after Coda, Kenai comes in and basically blocks. And that's when basically older brother Spirit comes
Just like,
down and is like,
You've learned your lesson.
like
Yeah,
intercepts.
because he-
Like, you learned your lesson because you showed your love. Like,
Yes.
you sacrificed yourself for
Just like I did.
Coda Bear.
for Coda Bear.
For Coda Bear. Yeah. He
And then Denahi sits there in like a WT heck moment. Like,
what is happening up
what
there?
in the world?
What's
Like,
going
brother, you are in the sky. other brother. You're a bear, little bear. Who are you?
Right. How come nobody turned me into a wolf? That would have made this trek way easier.
I feel very unwise right now. What is happening?
Can you imagine though? He's literally like, what?
Yeah.
And then
You have to assume he's been out there for like
And it's
at least
not-
a week, if not
and
longer.
it's not like Sitka says anything. He just kind of looks.
No, I think it's been a long time.
He looks at his brother.
I feel like it's been weeks.
Well, I
Then
think
he
it's
looks
been
at his
months. I think it's been
no,
a year.
not months.
Because
There's no way he went on a hunt for a year.
all
You're
the
insane.
all the bears at the place, they're like, oh, what happened to you this year? What happened to you this year? So I think it's been a while since the last
It's been
salmon
a while
run.
since the last salmon run. That hasn't been a year.
Oh, but-
I'm
well,
assuming
okay.
it's been a couple weeks that it took them to
It
migrate.
took them to get
Yes.
to get over there. All right, not the full year. Okay.
Well, if it took him a couple weeks just to get to their salmon,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
I feel like it took a bit.
Took a while.
But one of the cool things about this movie is that, and I didn't notice it until probably the second like appearance of this thing. But so we know that Sitka, the oldest brother who sacrificed himself, was the guidance one, and he turned into an eagle spirit, right? And that eagle shows up multiple times during
Yeah, I told Andre that
their
too.
migration or their
He's hanging out, looking over stuff.
to their move towards the salmon run. So it's really cool that you finally see like that eagle that was kind of chilling on a tree watching this whole fight turn into Sitka's spirit,
Right.
so that you can then see like, oh, look at you, you did good.
Yeah.
At this point, you assume Kenai is going to turn back into a human, go off with Denahi, go home.
I was confused at this point because I was like, how is this movie going to end? Because, like, Coda still, like, needs somebody. He's just going to have, like, a pet bear and hang out with him as a human. But nope. Turns out, perma-bear. I'm going to be a bear forever.
Perma-bear. Well, and it's funny that you say that because I thought that, too, like, I mean, I knew that he was going to stay a bear only because I knew that there was Brother Bear 2,
Okay,
where he was a bear.
Sure.
But it kind of was interesting, like, is he going to turn into a human that has, like, that can talk to bears?
Right, or have the ability through his totem to change into a bear
Right.
at will or whatever.
But can you imagine how complicated that would be? This
Yeah,
isn't
it'd be
like
a lot.
Sophia the First, where
Yeah.
she just goes back and forth every 15 minutes.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
It's
so
like
basically
a werewolf,
he
a
looks at
werebear.
Sitka and is like, he needs
Wolverine.
me. So he turns him back into a bear, and then the whole tribe is like, welcome, here's this bear.
This is our bear brother now.
And he made his
There-
mark on the wall just like Arlo. Boom.
I know.
Yeah.
That was very symbolic. But it was funny because they were so chill about it.
Yeah,
They
we're
were
like-
just
They were like, the spirits
Cool.
have chosen him
We like
to
bears
be a
now.
bear.
Tanana
Specifically
was
this
like,
bear. Told y'all.
y'all best recognize.
Mhm. This is our
He's finally a man bear.
yes, a man bear. No longer a boy bear. He's now a man bear.
Coda still
That
a
was
boy
cool.
bear.
I kind of was like, but wait, how come Sitka didn't get to be like the tribe eagle or whatever? Like they didn't welcome Sitka's. Oh, I guess because he like
He had already put his mark on the
and
wall.
he like died. So like
He's
that
dead.
that
He's
eagle.
a spirit. He's looking over them. He's
Right.
being guided.
yeah,
Exactly.
Kenai didn't die.
Yeah.
Kenai just was
Kenai's
like
just,
chosen to be
I'm a bear now.
Kenai
bear.
learned some wisdom that day.
Word. Yeah.
He learned it today.
And then the moose is giving yoga classes to the bears.
Oh my
So good.
gosh.
So good.
Ridiculous.
I love the moose so much.
So it's funny because I wrote down best parts: the moose, the salmon run, because I did think the stories were funny.
Yeah.
It
the
was.
stories are good.
And number 3 was the rams, which we missed the
The
rams.
Rams! Oh my God.
The Rams were so
The
funny.
Rams are great because they're,
Really, all the animals. in this movie.
they're like exercising, they're butting heads, and then they start yelling into this canyon, and the echoes start happening, and like, shut up, shut up. No, you shut up, you shut up, you shut up, you shut up.
They have zero understanding of what an echo is, so they think that there's a ram over there yelling back at them.
It reminded me
And-
of the Grinch for a second. It was like,
Yes.
They're just yelling for hours. Shut up.
And
shut
then
up.
later it goes back and it shows them and they're still there. They're laying down.
They're all
They're all
tired.
panting
Like
and they're
falling
just like,
asleep.
"You shut up."
Shut
up. So
Ah,
funny.
That
great.
was quite.
Was that in like
hilarious.
so like the credits start playing and then there's like extra scenes in the
Nah.
credits? Is that what was that a credit scene?
It could have been, but I don't
I can't remember.
know.
Where they were sleepy again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And then there's also a scene where Kanai is like painting on a wall as a bear and is like, oh, this is a pretty good wall painting, and then it pans over to Coda's painting and it's like that very famous painting of all the people at a picnic or whatever.
Yes.
No, the one that I thought thought was weird is like
So funny.
Coda and Kenai are like looking at themselves in like a glacier rock, so it's
Oh, yeah.
distorting their
Yeah.
bodies. And then they see a normal bear, and then
In
when it
the-
pans
in the
out,
reflection.
I was like, "What?"
And then it's just like a misshapen bear.
I literally looked at
Quasimodo bear.
I literally looked at Andre and was like, "What is that?" So
Stop.
weird.
Oh my
Bear bear is
gosh.
But
creepy.
overall, great. And the best part of the credit scenes is at the very, very end of the movie when Coda's like, "No salmon have been. This is by the National Wildlife something. No salmon have been harmed in the making of this movie." And the freaking salmon's like, "Oh, they're gonna eat me!"
He's like, cut the movie.
And
Cut
then
it.
you literally hear it go crunch, and Coda's like, "Oh." Hilarious.
Yeah, that was very good.
So
There's
here's
lot
a
of
couple
stuff in
fun
there.
facts. It kind of actually, some of them have to do with like the trailer, the theatrical release, that type of stuff.
Okay.
So this movie came out in 2003. It came out in March.
Yeah.
And Finding Nemo also came out in the same year, and it came out in November. So apparently when Finding Nemo was coming out for its theatrical release, they had a special trailer for Brother Bear at the beginning.
Oh.
Like not a trailer, but like a what says trailer, but I think they meant like there was an extra like short without being a
Right.
short.
Yeah.
And then in that, the Moose characters, Took and Rut, suggest that if the audience only sees one film that year, that it needed to be Brother Bear. But then but then Took's like, well, if the audience only seen one movie, then it's too late because they already saw a movie. And then both Moose are encouraging the audience to leave the theater. Well, you already saw your
Get
one
outta
movie
here.
this year. So
That's
ridiculous.
hilarious. I remembered some stuff from the trailer while watching this movie, which was interesting because I haven't seen that trailer in 10 years or whatever.
Yeah, I don't even
way
remember
over
it.
that. So that was cool. Trip down memory lane.
One of my favorite like secrets or whatever about this movie, because I didn't catch it when I was watching it, even though I remember the scene. But when Rut and Took, they get in a fight and they get really mad at some point, and they're like, he says something about the other one's nose or something, and he's like, "You went too far," right? Right? And so they have to make up after they're falling out, and Rut suggests, "Hey, you know what this calls for? A pile of delicious barley and amber wheat on a cool bed of malted hops." And when I heard hops, I thought about this, but
That's a
it's
beer?
it's pretty much all the ingredients for beer. And
Oh, yeah, they were having a beer.
so they were like, "You know what? This was bad. This was a bad fight. I think we need to go settle this over a pint." Like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
good.
No, I did realize that because it was like barley and
Lovely.
hops. I was
Yeah.
like, they're gonna go have
Yeah,
beer.
they're gonna-
Super funny.
Hilarious.
They got beer to munch.
Right? I thought that was cute.
That's very
I thought that was super cute too. So how you're saying this movie came out the same year as Finding Nemo? So how
Yes.
did it fare money wise and popularity?
It did okay.
Not fabulous.
Yeah.
So
It's not a well-known movie.
yeah, exactly. Where's the budget? I don't have the budget. But okay, so it made a worldwide total of $250 million, and its budget was $46 million. So it definitely made its money back, but it didn't do Disney gangbusters, especially at the time when Finding Nemo was out here making all kinds of halves of millions of dollars.
Well, and I wonder if it's just because, like, at that point, Pixar was so much more flashy
Yes.
than Disney was.
Right,
There was
because-
like a crazy difference in the animation quality of one
Yeah.
versus the other because of the CG.
Disney
and
was
the-
doing like their 2D animated movies, but then also their like 3D animated. They were starting some of the 3D animated
Mhm.
movies, which didn't look anywhere
Well,
near
also,
Pixar
the
level.
hype for Finding Nemo was real.
Yeah,
Like
Right.
that's true.
I remember, I was super little, but I was hyped for Finding Nemo, and I
Yeah.
still love that movie to this
Yeah,
day.
it's
I've
great.
just watched it so many times that I don't watch it anymore. Like,
Well, and you guys are talking about like the trailers for this movie, and I do not remember trailers for this movie. So it must.
I vaguely do.
It's just funny because when I read that it came out the same year, I was like, "Oh heck, no, it did not." Like, no, definitely did
No
not.
way.
But it did.
but it
And,
definitely
and
did.
speaking of Finding Nemo,
Yes.
Yes,
are we
say it.
Are we da 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 da? I can't do it.
Dun 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 dun
Can't do a
dun
song.
dun 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 fish battle.
Fish battle.
It could be a fish battle. There's salmon in this
Animal
movie.
battle. So, Luis, our lovely soccer coaching. I was about to say soccer mom. Our lovely soccer coaching fellow podcast member that's super busy. Still had time to pose a battle for us.
Yes.
Emily, you know what it was.
I do.
It's battle time.
It was. She doesn't know it. Okay, I know it.
Okay, you go
I know
for
the
it.
battle.
Good.
Who's okay? So Marlon. He kept saying Marvin. That's why I'm trying to get it right. Marvin was was super annoyed by his journey mate
Right. His
Dory.
companion, Dory.
In
And-
Finding Nemo.
in Finding Nemo, and Kenai was super annoyed with his journey mate Coda.
Mm-hmm.
Whose journey mate? Who was annoyed more by their journey mate? Lisa's way better at saying this kind of stuff than me.
Who was annoyed more?
Or who would you rather? Well, let's pose it this: who would you rather have be your journey mate?
Oh, that makes it
Dory?
much
Yeah, that's
easier.
Or
way
Coda.
easier.
No, Coda. Done.
'Cause I would,
What?
yes,
Go back to
I'd-
the other one.
I'd choose
Are you
Coda
serious?
in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Over
I love
Dory?
Dory.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
Dory's nice, but Dory's a lot of work.
Yeah,
you have
that's
to keep
a lot.
reminding
Okay,
Dory
Then we'll go
constantly
back
of
to
everything.
who's more
Who's more
annoying
annoyed?
to have to put up with.
Coda got him out of that trap like that. Dory is getting into traps like that. No.
Dory is a forever damsel
All
in
right, so
distress.
then let's go back
Okay.
to who's more annoying.
Or who was more annoyed? So Kenai was more
was
annoyed?
Definitely annoyed by Coda because he was like the little naggy brother
Yes.
that
Right.
wouldn't shut up.
And Kenai himself is kind of like a petulant little dude
Yeah.
that does not want to
He's not
accept
letting it
anybody
go.
help or.
So is Marlin. Marlin don't want no help
So
finding Nemo.
Marlin is on a mission. He has one thing that he has to do. He has to find his son. And Dory, though she's helping, she's also hurting in that effort. She is distracting him from getting to his goal.
I love Dory though.
Even though she's trying to help, which is it's quite nice, but
It's precious.
it's precious. But
it's
she
also.
she's frustrating. So
I'm going to say Marlin was
Yes,
more annoyed
I would
only
choose
because
Marlin as
the
well.
stakes for me are higher for Marlin than they are for Kenai. Because even though Kenai's super annoyed that he's a bear,
there's no time limit on it.
yeah, like, you gotta get up there to
I'll
those
be a human when I'm
lights.
Marlin
human.
is literally so annoyed at everything. When I think of Marlin, I think of him just yelling and like flailing, like you know how fish flail. He's like Dory.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Well,
of.
and Marlin, I mean, they don't make it, and we haven't done this movie, but
No, we haven't.
they don't make it as dramatic as it would be in real life because it's a kids movie.
Right.
But like, his son was fish trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
fish traffic.
Fish
Oh my god.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. I just never thought of it that way.
But like,
Yeah, he got picked up,
he got picked up and
Put in a
shipped
cage.
out.
moved for a very specific purpose.
You know what I mean? So he got
You got
taken. It's literally the movie Taken. Like
Yeah.
He got
It's
taken.
what Sebastian was warning a Little Mermaid about.
she just doesn't listen.
That
She's-
human word is a miss.
So I feel like the stakes are much higher for him, and so Dory is that much more annoying,
Right.
Because it's that.
She can't remember the address.
Yes.
We're at the bottom of the ocean now. Goodness gracious, there's sharks after us.
1842 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Dory.
I remembered it. I love that movie.
But I feel like Kenai's a little bit more. Coda's a little bit more helpful because
Right.
he's like, oh yeah, the salmon run. I know where we're going, and
Yeah.
he does
only
get them
because
there.
he doesn't
Exactly.
have a poor mental disability.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
well, that's
Oh.
true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dory.
Coda's on a mission too, and he's using that to help the both of them
Yeah.
to get to the salmon run.
So unfortunately, I
Possibly
think
find his mom.
Marlin is much more annoyed.
Yes, we all agree that Marlin is much more annoyed than Dory.
Yeah.
On another note, we gotta do Finding Nemo soon. 'Cause that's a good movie.
It is a good
I
movie.
do
is a
like
good
it.
movie.
It's funny though that you brought that up because wasn't thinking about the battle when you brought up Finding Nemo because one of the only like hidden Mickeys or Easter eggs in this movie is at one point during the salmon run scene, they like pick up one of the bears and they turn him over or I think it's that. I have a picture of it, but a whole bunch of stuff falls out of like fish and stuff, and Nemo falls out.
Oh,
Very
that's
small
cool.
in the corner. So
Damn.
Interesting.
Got very far away from Australia.
Well, maybe it was part of his. It was part of the journey.
Oh yeah, maybe.
He's on his way from misery to happiness today.
This movie was very emotional for me.
No, you don't know that song?
It was emotional for
It
you.
was emotional because like, as the story was like wrapping up, and Kanai was like noticing that being a hunter, especially of bears, is like a bad thing, you know, and like bears aren't all bad. And so I'm playing a video game called Red Dead Redemption 2 right now.
Oh gosh.
In which you can hunt all kinds of animals, including bears, and bears are crazy because their pelts are worth like a lot of money. So I am like encouraged to go hunt bears in the game.
Well, and I need you to back up because there's a difference.
You know what that's
between
called?
What?
Poaching.
Poaching.
Not in the West. Not
Here's
in
the deal.
Wild,
There's
Wild
a difference.
West.
He's not being truthful because Luis played the first Red Dead Redemption so much. It's not like suggested that you do this. It's like very much a big part of the game. Like Luis was out there hunting these animals,
bears.
and then I would be like, "This is ridiculous. Can we stop?" And he's like, "It's not real. I wouldn't do it in real life." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm watching you do this. It's like turning my stomach." No, it's a big old deal in that game.
So anyway, for the past couple of days while playing the game, I've been like avoiding bears. Every time I see a bear, I'm like, not yet. I can't.
Not
do it
today.
Yet.
Too soon.
I can't take away somebody's mama.
I have to tell a funny story because I love my fiance, but when he gets a new video game, he gets super obsessed with it, right? Like, we witnessed this with Spider-Man, where I lost my fiance for 3 days to a game. But this...
Lucky it was only 3 days.
He's been
surprised.
playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I watch it, like, while I'm doing my master's class or whatever. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, and he's always riding this horse. And I was like, why don't you get a different horse? Because I thought there was prettier horses to ride, you know. I was like, go get that spotted horse. He was like, no, I've built a relationship with this horse,
I've
man.
bonded with this
He's
horse.
bonded with his horse. So he's obsessed with this horse today. And I get home from work today, and he's playing, right? And I'm sitting on the couch, and he's like, no. And he starts, like, freaking out. I was like, what? He's like, I killed my horse.
My horse died. It got hit by a train.
And he was
No,
just
you
gonna let
seriously-
it. He was gonna let it stay dead because he ran into the train, so he killed his own horse, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "You didn't save the game. Just go back to
Load
where
up the
you left
game.
off, and your horse is alive." And he's like, "You're so smart." And then he did it, and then he killed his horse again.
I did the same exact thing. I got hit by a train.
But did you go make it alive again?
I reloaded the same again.
Okay.
My
So his horse
Bullseye is fine, you guys.
Bullseye
Don't worry
is
about
fine.
Bullseye.
Yes, his horse is named
He's
Bullseye.
doing okay.
God, I can't.
He bonded.
I'm done.
Anyways, let's do our ratings. You ready?
Yeah, so first let me say that this movie, though it was received fairly well by audiences, critics did not like it at all. It has a 37% on
For
Rotten
reals.
Tomatoes.
For reals.
Wow.
37% and a 64%
What didn't they
audience
like about
score.
it? We know.
Let's see.
Finding Nemo
The
came
critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes says Brother Bear is gentle and pleasant, if unremarkable Disney fare, with so-so animation and generic plotting.
Yeah, I think that a lot of
Okay.
people thought that it wasn't imaginative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it reminds me of other movies. It, like, pulls these themes and things from different movies, but do I think it's a lot better than some of those other kind of movies coming out from Disney during this time? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
I
I
enjoyed
think
it a
I think
lot.
that this movie is underrated. I would
Yeah,
suggest
I
people.
like it a lot. I
giving
think
it
it's
a
really
shot.
cute. Like, I would for sure show this movie to my kids.
Yeah.
It teaches a good lesson. It's still, like, upbeat enough to, like, be
And it's funny.
enjoyable for them, I feel like. Yeah.
And the funny moments were funny.
The funny moments were
Yeah.
You
very
know,
funny.
they didn't fall flat. So that makes a huge difference when you're watching something that has a heavy plot line.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Yeah.
though it wasn't heavy the whole time, like the implication of what Kenai did to Coda's mom is pretty rough.
Right.
And his brother died very soon. So, like, for the funnies to be that good.
Yeah, I thought it.
And
I
lighthearted.
really like it. What you gonna give
Some
it?
good funnies. I think I'm going to give it an 8.0. It's a solid movie. Lots of fun. Lots of good stuff in it. I didn't love all the music, but I did love the animation. The animation really stood out to me as being like bright and colorful, and the scenery was awesome, and Coda's really cute. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Very good. I'm also going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a solid, good movie. If you haven't watched it, you should. Like I'm sure you're happy you've seen it now. And I
Yes.
think like literally the moment Coda came on screen and started talking, like just like brightened my mood that
Yeah.
evening that we watched it. I was like, oh, and
He's
then
so
like, you know,
cute.
when he starts talking, I was like, yeah. There's always like someone in a movie that you like really love, you know what I mean? And that was like Coda for me. So he made it so enjoyable. I'd watch it again just for him. He's so cute.
My
So-
name isn't Kid, it's Coda.
He's so cute. Yeah, so an 8. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Me too. Giving it an 8.
Ooh,
exact
I got a
same.
sweep.
Exact same reasons as all of you. I would have given it a higher score if I liked the music more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
But it's not bad. It fits
Right.
the movie, which I agree with you with what
It
you
does
said earlier.
fit.
It's just not my favorite.
Right.
But if it had been better, then it would have popped it up to a 9, no doubt.
Right.
But
If all the songs were on the same caliber of like On My Way.
agreed.
Or as Tarzan, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
like
Tarzan.
I think Tarzan like had like a lot more songs than this one did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if this movie had as many songs as Tarzan did, but they were this quality, I would have been ripping my hair out. And I don't even have a lot of hair. So it would've been
You have
I would
no
have been
hair.
like
It would've been
Phil
difficult.
Collins. I mean, I still
Phil.
love Phil. You
Right,
know,
yeah.
you know we love him.
Phil Coco.
You're still a homie, Phil.
But yeah. So anywho, oh, and the backgrounds, the scenery was
Yeah.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
beautiful.
This movie is lit.
So yeah.
Good
Yes.
stuff. Jolly good. All right.
Speaking of phenomenal scenery, doesn't even connect to the next movie we're watching, but in my mind it does because we're gonna go to the wilderness in the next movie that we're gonna
Yes,
watch.
at one
Just
point,
a different kind of
is
wilderness.
I'm
some
so
nature.
excited, you guys.
We
I
are
can't
watching.
even.
I can't even either.
Andre,
I'm
you
so
say
stoked.
it because we're
Next
done.
week, we're jumping over to live action. We are going to watch the Lindsay Lohan version of The Parent Trap.
Hell,
Yeah.
it's for the way you look at me. Let's get some Oreos and peanut butter and a lizard in your mouth.
It's got two Lindsay Lohans.
Two
in the
Lindsay
movie.
Lohans.
It's
And a
crazy.
Dennis Quaid.
And a Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid
That's very
and
true.
just every. I can't wait.
So many good things. And you know what? I'm worried because I haven't seen this movie in so long.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
if,
me
I've seen
too.
it a long
if
time.
it sucks so bad, I'm still going to be like, I don't even care.
I haven't
might.
watched this movie in ages,
It-
but as a kid, I watched this movie nonstop.
Oh, yeah.
We
I
watched
have
it a
it on
lot.
VHS. That was the VHS that got the most played from me. You can ask my mom. It was just like, you want to watch a Parent Trap? Yeah, let's watch a Parent Trap. Yeah.
Well, and
I
I-
always want to watch it.
I think I liked this movie the most because both of the parents are so endearing.
Yes.
At least from
Right,
my
yes.
childhood.
Yeah, the
Storyline
parents
is
are
great
good.
to me.
Oh no, the
Ugh.
story's great, but like a lot of times did not. Well, I realize that this isn't like a traditional Disney story,
Sure.
but like they always make the parents stupid.
Yeah.
Like parents are
Yeah.
always like annoying or whatever. No, both of these parents are
The
freaking
parents
hilarious.
are good, but then the stepmom is
so
crazy.
bad.
Oh man. Oh,
She's
I
so
can't
good,
wait
she's
to
so
see
bad.
the stepmom
When
again.
they put her on the freaking air mattress on the lake. Okay, we're getting so
Yeah,
far
we're
ahead of
getting into it.
ourselves.
Put sugar in her freaking
I literally remember
So good.
everything about this movie. It's insane.
Man, they
like
did
I'm
a-
so excited.
They did
And listeners, let us know if you're as excited as we are. If you're a 90s baby, I'm sure you're stoked, right?
yeah.
I don't know if Luis has ever seen this movie.
No, he's gonna learn today.
He gonna learn.
He gonna learn.
We can watch it right
today.
now.
We-
I'm just saying,
we
we
could,
really
interestingly.
could.
Yeah. So next week we're doing the Parent Trap. Join us for that. Then in the meantime, you can go over to our social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and most importantly, Instagram at the Walt Vault Pod. You can go to our website, thewaltvaultpod.com. You can leave us comments. You can send us messages. You can slide into our DMs. You can send me an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and I'll read your message on the show. Did you have something to say?
I was, but I didn't want it to sound mean.
What?
I was saying you could send me a wedding gift, you know.
You can send us a wedding gift.
Stop. I'm done.
Hook it up.
Andre and I are getting married in
2 weeks.
2
Yep.
weeks, y'all.
Just a very, very short
I know
amount
all
of
about
time.
the date, you guys. It's in
Mhm.
2 weeks. Her wedding shower is in 2 days. Nobody's freaking out. Except for the person talking. Just kidding.
Yeah, she's freaking out, so I don't have to.
It's
So
all
great.
niceness. So yeah, if you want to wish us a happy marriage, that'd be cool too.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. So bad.
In lieu of a gift, if you don't want to do that, you can go over to patreon.com/the Walt Vault and sign up for as little as $1 or more. You get access to our after show, A Crack in the Vault. And signing up on the Patreon helps us a lot. That helps keeps the light on in this dark vault that we're in. No lights in this vault. I don't know why they didn't install lights in here. That's crazy.
My poor house has no lights.
It's awful.
Turn
Yeah.
on the lights in here, baby.
Please.
Luis
So-
still says he's never heard that song. I think
But
he's
he's a
lying.
liar. So go there, sign up, help us keep the lights on. That would be greatly appreciated. And also subscribe and leave a rating and review on iTunes. That helps a lot too. That helps us get seen by more people on the charts.
It does, and you know what, guys? We've been doing this for a year. It's been like the best year ever. We have like almost 1,000 Instagram followers. It blows my mind that many people might know my face.
Your face
Maybe.
or your voice.
They might. Whoa, yeah, they definitely don't know my face. You're right.
Not the point, Michelle.
Audio podcast.
About your face.
Yes.
Whatever.
So all you Instagram followers, give us a rating and review. That'd be great.
Michelle needs you to know her face.
Check out Michelle's Instagram. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. That's been it for this week. Catch us for some Parent Trap goodness next week. That's it for now. The Vault is now closed.
This movie is lit.